Israel is a small country located in a very tough neighborhood, the Middle East. Since it was created in 1948, it has often been in conflict with its neighbors. This long history of wars has made having a strong military, known as the Israel Defense Forces or IDF, incredibly important for its survival. The country sees its army not just as a tool for fighting wars, but as a shield that protects its people and its existence. Every citizen grows up with this reality, and military service is a common experience for most young Israelis, weaving the army into the very fabric of the nation's identity. This constant state of alert has shaped the country's mindset and its priorities for many decades. The feeling of being surrounded by potential threats has pushed Israel to always stay one step ahead. Its leaders believe that the only way to ensure peace is by being so strong that no one would dare to attack them. This idea is called deterrence. It means showing your enemies that any fight would be too costly for them to even consider starting. This philosophy drives Israel's military planning and its constant search for the best weapons and technology available. The goal is to maintain a qualitative military edge, which means having better equipment and better trained soldiers than any combination of its potential adversaries in the region. This focus on military strength has made the IDF one of the most powerful and experienced armies in the world, especially for its size. Its soldiers are trained for a wide variety of missions, from large-scale battles to small, precise operations. The military has fought in major wars, but it also deals with daily security challenges along its borders. This continuous experience gives its soldiers and commanders a level of practical knowledge that is hard to match. The lessons learned in past conflicts are quickly studied and used to improve tactics, training, and technology for the future, creating a cycle of constant adaptation and improvement. As we look at the situation in 2025, the importance of the IDF has not changed. The region remains unstable, with new and old threats continuing to challenge Israel's security. Groups like Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon, along with the complex situation with Iran, mean the military must be ready for anything. The ongoing war in Gaza, which began after the Hamas attack on October 7, 2023, is a stark reminder of these dangers. For Israel, a powerful military is seen as the ultimate guarantee of its national security, a necessary pillar to stand strong in a volatile and often hostile part of the world. When people talk about Israel's military might, the Israeli Air Force, or IAF, is often the first thing that comes to mind. It is considered the tip of the spear for the IDF, meaning it is the first and most powerful tool used to project power and defend the country. The IAF has a legendary reputation, built on daring operations and victories in past wars. Its primary job is to control the skies, making sure no enemy planes can threaten Israel. This is called achieving air superiority, and it is something the IAF has been very good at for a long time. It allows the ground forces to operate more safely and gives Israel the ability to strike targets far from its borders if needed. The strength of the Air Force comes from two main things: highly skilled pilots and the most advanced aircraft in the region. Israeli pilots go through one of the toughest training programs in the world. They are selected for their intelligence, coolness under pressure, and flying skills. They spend thousands of hours in the air, practicing complex maneuvers and missions so they can react perfectly in a real battle. This focus on human skill is just as important as the technology they use. The combination of a top-tier pilot and a top-tier jet creates a fighting force that is difficult for any opponent to challenge in the air. In 2025, the IAF's fleet is a mix of powerful and proven fighter jets. It includes planes like the F-15 and F-16, which have been the backbone of the Air Force for years. These jets have been constantly upgraded with Israeli-made technology like special radars, electronic warfare systems, and missiles. This means that even an older plane in Israel's fleet might be more advanced than a newer plane in another country's air force. This strategy of continuous improvement ensures that the entire fleet remains deadly and effective against modern threats, not just the newest models. But the real star of the show is the new generation of aircraft that Israel has acquired. The country has made a massive investment in fifth-generation stealth fighters, which are almost invisible to enemy radar. This leap in technology is designed to keep the IAF ahead of its rivals for many years to come. As other countries in the Middle East try to buy modern weapons, Israel is always looking for the next big thing to maintain its advantage. This forward-thinking approach is a key part of its defense strategy, ensuring its air force remains the most dominant in the entire region. The most powerful tool in the Israeli Air Force's arsenal today is the F-35I Adir, which means Mighty One in Hebrew. This is Israel's special version of the American F-35, the most advanced stealth fighter jet in the world. Being the only country in the Middle East to fly the F-35 gives Israel a huge strategic advantage. Its stealth technology allows it to fly deep into enemy territory without being detected by most radar systems. This is a complete game-changer, as it means the Adir can gather intelligence or strike targets that were once thought to be untouchable, giving Israel options it never had before. Israel was not content with just buying the standard F-35. It worked with the United States to create a unique version, the F-35I, that includes Israeli-made technology. This allows the IAF to install its own command, control, communications and computing systems, as well as its own electronic warfare pods and guided bombs. This customization means the jet is perfectly suited for Israel's specific needs and threats. It also means that Israel can upgrade the jet systems on its own, without having to wait for the United States. This independence is very important for a country that wants to be self-reliant in its defense. By 2025, Israel is well on its way to building a large fleet of these powerful jets. In 2023, the government approved the purchase of another 25 planes, which will eventually bring the total number of Adirs to 75. This is a massive investment that shows how central the F-35I is to Israel's long-term defense strategy. Israel was also the first country in the world to use the F-35 in a combat mission, a fact that it revealed to show its confidence in the plane's abilities. For instance, reports confirmed that the F-35I was used during a conflict with Iran in June 2024, proving its effectiveness in a real-world high-stakes scenario. The presence of the F-35I Adir sends a powerful message to the rest of the region. It signals that Israel's technological lead is not just continuing, but growing. While other countries might eventually get advanced fighters, Israel's experience and unique modifications to the platform will likely keep it years ahead. The Adir is more than just a plane. It is a symbol of Israel's qualitative military edge. It is the core of the country's strategy to deter its enemies and, if necessary, to achieve a quick and decisive victory in any future conflict that may arise. Israel's military strength isn't just about powerful fighter jets, it's also about a deep commitment to technology in every part of its armed forces. The country is often called the startup nation because of its incredible innovation in the civilian world, and this same spirit drives its military development. The IDF works very closely with Israel's defense companies to create cutting-edge solutions for the battlefield. This includes everything from advanced sensors and communication systems to sophisticated cyber warfare capabilities. This technological advantage acts as a force multiplier, meaning it makes every soldier and every piece of equipment more effective. A great example of this is Israel's multi-layered missile defense system. This system is designed to protect the entire country from different types of rocket and missile attacks. It includes the famous Iron Dome, which shoots down short-range rockets from Gaza. For medium-range threats there is David's Sling, and for long-range ballistic missiles from places like Iran, there is the Arrow system. No other country in the world has such a comprehensive and integrated shield against aerial threats. This defense system not only saves lives but also gives Israeli leaders more time to make decisions during a crisis, reducing the pressure to strike back immediately. The IDF also heavily invests in intelligence-gathering technology. It uses satellites, drones, and advanced listening posts to keep a close watch on its adversaries. This allows the military to see what is happening across its borders in real time, identify threats before they materialize, and plan operations with incredible precision. This intelligence dominance is crucial. It allows for surgical strikes that minimize risk to Israeli forces and, in theory, are meant to reduce civilian casualties. Although this remains a highly controversial point, especially in the context of the Gaza conflict. The ability to know what the enemy is planning is one of Israel's most significant advantages. Furthermore, the individual Israeli soldier is equipped with advanced gear. From smart rifles that help with aiming to networked communication devices that allow every soldier to see the battlefield picture, technology is everywhere. The Army has also been a pioneer in using unmanned ground vehicles and robots for dangerous tasks like patrolling borders or clearing tunnels. This focus on technology is about protecting soldiers' lives and making them more lethal and efficient. In 2025, this high-tech approach is what truly separates the IDF from other armies in the region, making it a formidable force far beyond its numbers. Israel's military is not just a consumer of advanced technology, it's also, a major producer and exporter of it. The country has built a world-class defense industry with companies like Elbit Systems, Rafael Advanced Defense Systems, and Israel Aerospace Industries. These companies are known around the globe for their innovative and battle-proven products. They don't just create weapons for the IDF, they sell them to dozens of countries, including major military powers in Europe, Asia, and North America. This thriving export business is a key part of Israel's economy and its international relations. The relationship between the IDF and the defense industry is a special one. The military acts as a testing ground for new technologies. A new missile, drone, or radar system is first used by Israeli soldiers, who provide real-world feedback. This allows the companies to perfect their products and then market them to other countries with the powerful slogan, "Battle-Tested." This gives Israeli products a huge advantage in the competitive global arms market. Buyers know they're getting equipment that's been proven to work under the most demanding conditions, which makes it, honestly, highly desirable. This industry has remained incredibly resilient, even in the face of political pressure. For example, despite widespread international criticism of Israel's military operations in Gaza, its defense companies continue to sign major deals. A perfect illustration of this happened just yesterday, on July 28, 2025, when Elbit Systems secured a huge $260 million contract. This deal was to supply advanced missile defense systems for the German Air Force's transport aircraft. Signing such a significant contract with a key NATO ally like Germany shows that the demand for Israeli technology often outweighs political controversy. The success of the defense industry provides Israel with several key benefits. First, it brings in billions of dollars, which helps fund the research and development of even more advanced systems for the IDF. Second, it strengthens diplomatic ties with the countries that buy its weapons, creating strategic partnerships around the world. Finally, it ensures that Israel maintains its own production lines for critical military hardware, reducing its dependence on other nations. In 2025, Israel's defense industry is not just supporting its own military, it's a powerful tool of national influence on the world stage. Despite its immense military power, Israel in 2025 faces profound and difficult challenges, none more significant than the ongoing war in the Gaza Strip. The conflict, which was triggered by the horrific Hamas attack on October 7, 2023, has become one of the longest and most devastating in the nation's history. The initial goals of the military operation were to dismantle Hamas's military and governing capabilities and to rescue the hostages taken during the attack. However, achieving these goals has proven to be incredibly difficult in the dense urban environment of Gaza, leading to a protracted and grueling conflict that has continued for well over a year and a half. The fighting has been intense and costly, both for Palestinians in Gaza and for the Israeli soldiers involved. The IDF has deployed a massive force, using its air power, tanks, and ground troops to target Hamas fighters, tunnels, and infrastructure. But Hamas has proven to be a resilient and adaptable foe, using its vast network of underground tunnels to survive airstrikes and launch ambushes against Israeli troops. As of July 2025, the fighting continues, with regular clashes and military operations still taking place across the Strip. The fact that around 50 hostages are still being held in Gaza is a painful, open wound for Israeli society and a constant source of pressure on the government. This long war has taken a heavy toll. According to figures from the Gaza Health Ministry, which are considered reliable by the United Nations and other international bodies, the number of Palestinians killed in the conflict has surpassed 59,700. This staggering number, which includes a majority of women and children, has shocked the world and brought intense international scrutiny upon Israel's military tactics. The IDF states that it takes measures to avoid civilian casualties and blames Hamas for operating from within populated areas, but the sheer scale of the death and destruction has led to widespread condemnation and accusations of disproportionate force. For the Israeli military, the Gaza war represents a new and difficult type of challenge. It is not a traditional war against another state's army, but a counterinsurgency campaign against a non-state group deeply embedded within a civilian population. The IDF's technological superiority has not been enough to secure a quick victory. Instead, the military is caught in a seemingly endless cycle of conflict that raises difficult questions about its strategy, its ethics, and what a true victory in Gaza could even look like. This war has become a defining event for this generation of Israelis and for the future of the entire region. The military conflict in Gaza has created a humanitarian catastrophe of staggering proportions. By mid-2025, the situation for the more than 2 million people living in the Strip has become desperate. The widespread bombing and ground operations have destroyed homes, hospitals, schools, and essential infrastructure like water and sanitation systems. The vast majority of the population has been forced to flee their homes, many of them multiple times, and are now living in makeshift tents or overcrowded shelters, with little access to basic necessities. The war has not just been a military battle, it has been a disaster for every civilian living in Gaza. One of the most urgent problems is the growing threat of starvation. With normal food supply routes cut off, and much of Gaza's agricultural land destroyed, hunger is widespread. International aid organizations and the United Nations have repeatedly warned of famine conditions in parts of the Strip. In response to intense international pressure, the Israeli military announced on July 26, 2025, that it would begin airdropping aid and attempting to establish humanitarian corridors. However, these efforts have been described by aid groups as far too little and too late to address the scale of the crisis that has unfolded over many months. Getting aid to those who need it has been incredibly dangerous and chaotic. The breakdown of law and order has made aid distribution a perilous task. The Hamas-run police force, which used to provide security for aid convoys, has been largely dismantled by Israeli airstrikes. This has led to widespread looting of aid trucks by desperate crowds and criminal gangs. Tragically, many civilians have been killed while trying to get food. The UN reported that since May 2025 alone, over 1,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces near aid distribution points. The IDF often states its soldiers fire warning shots in response to perceived threats from the crowds. This humanitarian crisis has drawn sharp condemnation from around the world. Over 24 Western-aligned nations and more than 100 non-governmental organizations have called for an immediate and permanent ceasefire to end the suffering. Ceasefire negotiations, mediated by the United States, Egypt, and Qatar, have repeatedly stalled, with the latest round breaking down on July 24, 2025. The inability to stop the fighting and effectively address the humanitarian disaster has left the people of Gaza trapped in a cycle of violence and despair, and it has deeply stained Israel's international reputation. A crucial piece of the puzzle of Israel's military strength is its special relationship with the United States. For decades, the U.S. has been Israel's most important ally, providing billions of dollars in military aid every year. This support is not just about money, it's about ensuring that Israel maintains its qualitative military edge, or QME. This is an official U.S. policy that aims to give Israel better military technology than its neighbors, so that it can defend itself against any potential threat. This policy is the reason why Israel is the only country in the Middle East with the F-35 fighter jet. This American support gives Israel access to the world's most advanced weapons systems, often before other close U.S. allies. This includes not only fighter jets but also precision-guided bombs, missile defense components, and top-tier intelligence sharing. This deep level of cooperation allows the two countries' militaries to work together seamlessly and ensures the IDF is always equipped with the latest and greatest technology. The American connection is a foundational pillar of Israel's defense doctrine, allowing it to plan for the future with confidence, knowing it will have the tools it needs to stay ahead. The U.S. commitment to Israel's QME also influences arms sales throughout the entire region. When the U.S. considers selling advanced weapons like the F-35 to other Middle Eastern countries such as the United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia, it must first ensure that Israel's security is not compromised. This usually means that if a sale does go through, Israel will be given something even better to maintain its advantage. For example, there is talk that if other nations get the F-35, the U.S. might offer Israel an even more advanced future fighter, like the proposed 6th-generation F-47 or a highly upgraded 5th-plus generation F-35. This relationship, however, is not without its complexities, especially in light of the Gaza war. While the U.S. government has continued its military support, there has been growing pressure from some American lawmakers and the public to place conditions on aid due to the high number of civilian casualties and the humanitarian crisis. Despite this, the core commitment to Israel's security remains strong. In 2025, the American alliance continues to be the ultimate backstop for Israel's military, a critical partnership that underpins its regional dominance and shapes the balance of power across the Middle East. As we stand in the middle of 2025, Israel's military is at a crossroads. On one hand, it is more powerful and technologically advanced than ever before. With its expanding fleet of F-35 Mayadir jets, its world-class defense industry, and its unwavering support from the United States, the IDF remains the undisputed military heavyweight of the Middle East. Its ability to project power and defend its borders with cutting-edge technology is unmatched in the region. This strength provides a powerful sense of security for many Israelis in a volatile and dangerous part of the world, fulfilling its primary mission of deterrence. However, this immense power has not brought lasting peace or stability. The protracted and brutal war in Gaza has shown the limits of what military force can achieve. Despite its technological superiority, the IDF has been unable to secure a decisive victory over Hamas, or find a solution to the complex political and humanitarian issues at the heart of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The war has exacted a terrible human cost, deepened regional hatreds, and isolated Israel on the international stage. This raises a critical question for the future. Can military might alone guarantee Israel's long-term security and well-being? Looking ahead, Israel's military will likely continue to focus on maintaining its technological edge. It will keep a close watch on threats from Iran and its proxies like Hezbollah, while investing in the next generation of warfare, including artificial intelligence, cyber, and space capabilities. The quest for the next superweapon, like the potential F-47 fighter, will continue. But the lessons of the Gaza war may also lead to a re-evaluation of military strategy. There may be a growing recognition that some problems do not have purely military solutions, and that a different approach is needed. Ultimately, the future of Israel and its military is uncertain. The nation's strength is undeniable, but so are the challenges it faces. The path forward will require more than just powerful weapons. It will require wisdom, diplomacy, and a genuine effort to resolve the underlying conflicts that have fueled decades of violence. The great challenge for Israel will be to figure out how to use its power not just to win wars, but to build a lasting and secure peace for itself and for its neighbors. The answer to that question will define the future of the region for generations